Hi ladies! Today we're talking all about how to use ovulation strips. Hi ladies, welcome back. If you want all of the science-based tips, tricks, and secrets to help you get pregnant naturally and faster, then subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you know when I give you new stuff every week. I've been helping lots of women over the years, online and in person, get pregnant. I'm helping them learn about themselves, learn about their bodies, readjust their lifestyle and diet and all that good stuff. And now I'm bringing the information to you. So today, we're going to go into just one of those little things, which is taking ovulation strips. And a lot of women don't know how to use these, or they get confused when they first start. So this is just going to be like a little bit of an introduction, so it will help you understand how to use ovulation strips, or OPKs, which stands for ovulation predictor kits. It'll help you use them, understand them a little bit better. So first off, what is an ovulation strip or OPK? I'm going to use those terms interchangeably. So you might hear me say OPK once, or you might hear me say ovulation strip one time, but they're both the same thing. What they help you do is they help you to predict when you might ovulate. Now, it doesn't tell you if you've ovulated, because what it does is it measures the amount of luteinizing hormone in your urine. Now, if you remember from one of my previous episodes, which I will link to up in the cards, luteinizing hormone is the hormone your body releases to actually stimulate ovulation to occur. And it will happen in the middle of your cycle, approximately around day 14, as the textbook example. Now, it could be day 12 for you, it could be day 16 for you, but anywhere kind of in that range is when you're going to have what we call an LH surge, or a luteinizing hormone surge. And the ovulation predictor kit, or OPK, actually helps to measure when your body is having this LH surge. Now, you will actually release your egg or ovulate approximately 12 to 48 hours after you have the surge. So once your ovulation predictor kit turns positive, which we'll talk about what that looks like in a little bit, but once that turns positive, you will ovulate around a half a day to 2 days after that time. So once it turns positive, that's the signal for you to get busy between the sheets.
Get busy.
Now, just because your ovulation strip has turned positive does not mean that you will actually ovulate. Your body can actually ramp up to ovulate, have its LH surge, and then not ovulate after that. So it's a predictor kit. It will predict when it will happen, but it does not confirm that you have actually ovulated. The only way to confirm that you've ovulated is to actually be doing basal body temperature charting, which I'll also link to in the cards there. If you are doing basal body temperature charting, you will notice a sharp rise in your basal body temperature after ovulation has occurred, and that will confirm that ovulation occurred the day before. So temperature rise means that ovulation occurred the day before. So ovulation predictor kit will tell you when you're about to ovulate, and it gives you the signal to go ahead and have intercourse so that you can hopefully get pregnant. And the basal body temperature will confirm that you have actually ovulated. Okay, so now this is kind of where the confusing part is, and I get this question a lot, is how do I know that my ovulation strip or my OPK is positive? Your ovulation strip is totally, completely different than a pregnancy test. With a pregnancy test, if there's any hint of a line for your second line, or what we call your test line, then you're pregnant, then it's a positive test. However, that is not so with the ovulation strips. With the ovulation strips, you're probably going to have a second line all the time. Many women do. And that doesn't mean that it's positive. Your ovulation strip is only positive when the test line is as dark or darker than the control line. So in this picture, you can see that there's a test line that's pretty dark and a control line that's light, and that is a negative ovulation strip test. And in this picture, there's a test line that is very dark and a control line that is the same darkness, and that is a positive ovulation strip. Now, when you first start to take these, you're not really going to know whether your positive is a line that is the same darkness or whether it's a little bit darker. So this is kind of something you get a feel for after you do it for a cycle or two, and then you'll be able to recognize, okay, that is as dark as my test line usually gets, and you'll have an idea of what your positive ovulation strip looks like for you. And every woman is different. Some women have a light line always for their test line throughout their cycle. Some women have completely nothing. They're a completely white, blank test line, and then they will surge and they'll have a really dark line within just a couple of hours, and then it will disappear again. So again, you'll get a feel for how it is for you. But the control line and the test line need to be as dark as each other, or the test line needs to be darker than the control line for your ovulation test to be positive. Now, there's lots of different types and kinds and brands of ovulation strips that you can buy. You can buy them at your pharmacy and they look like they're longer, they look similar to pregnancy tests, or you can buy them online in bulk and they're very small little strips. I will attach pictures later when I start talking about the progression and all that stuff, but any brand that you like will do. They also have those brands that do like the smiley faces and all that kind of stuff. I personally don't love those because they can be open for interpretation and you don't really know what's going on behind the smiley face. But that's personal preference. If that's what you really like to use, then go for it. And you understand how it works for you and your body, then absolutely do that. Okay, so how are you supposed to take the OPKs? Well, you're supposed to use urine and you're going to take a little cup and you're going to pee a little bit in the cup and then you're going to dip the test in the urine and let it sit for a couple of minutes. Now, unlike pregnancy tests, which you want to use first morning urine for, you're not going to want to use first morning urine for your ovulation strip because it's concentrated, it messes up with the actual fluctuations of the hormones, and it's not accurate in the morning. So you're going to want to not use first morning urine. And you can use any other urine throughout the day as long as you're taking your ovulation strip test at the same time every day. So if you use second morning urine around 10 a.m. in the morning, then you're going to want to take that ovulation strip test at 10 a.m. every morning so that you have something to compare it to. Now, for myself, what I was doing was I was getting home from work around 6 p.m. and that was when I was taking it. So I had an accurate record of 6 p.m. every single day of how it progressed. Now, if you start to take it at different times of the day, it can start to look a little weird and you're not really sure what's happening. Now, some women do tend to kind of have their LH surge at a random time, and it's not always the same time. Most women surge in the afternoon, and this is just something that they found in studies, and it's actually in all mammals, is that their LH surges happen in the afternoon. And if they don't ovulate in the coming day or 2 days, then another LH surge will occur again at that same time in the afternoon. So it's an interesting little thing that has to do with the circadian rhythm, which is why sleep is really important because your hormones all operate on the circadian rhythm, even your LH and ovulation hormones. So when you are taking the tests, you can take them throughout the day if you're someone that misses their LH surge. So you might notice that you're taking them and you're getting negatives, but then if you're charting your basal body temperature, you'll notice that you show a sharp increase in your temperature, meaning that you've ovulated. Now you're probably wondering, well, but I didn't find a positive on my ovulation strip. How could it be that I ovulated? Well, you might just be one of those women that has a very short LH surge very quickly before you actually ovulate. So you might be one of those women that has the surge and then 12 hours later ovulates, and it might happen at a time that you miss it with the test. In that instance, you can start taking the OPKs multiple times a day as you're getting closer to your fertile window. And again, this is something that you'll learn as you take the tests over a cycle or 2 or 3. So you're not going to know right away. The first cycle is kind of like a test cycle where you don't really know what's happening and you don't know what's positive and what's not positive, or what works for your body. And then once you get further on to using them, you get to know exactly what's happening with your body, and you learn a lot of things that you didn't know before, which is kind of cool, I think. Okay, so now to the question of, can ovulation tests be used as pregnancy tests? I mean, the jury is still out on this one because I really don't know. For me, it never did anything that remotely even caused me to think I might possibly be pregnant. Technically, there's not really supposed to be a large amount of LH in your system at that point. So technically, it should be a negative test. But lots of women claim that they have a lot of LH that shows up on an ovulation strip prior to getting a positive on a pregnancy strip. And women are backing this very intensely. So for me, I would say it didn't, but for lots of women, it does. So jury's still out on this one. I don't really have any evidence to point one way or the other, so it'll be up to you and you can experiment with it either way. So that's your basic 101 on how to use ovulation strips. I hope you learned something. I hope it helps you figure out a little bit more about your cycle, your body, your own pattern. And it can be a great tool to use to actually help you get pregnant, but it can also push you to the other edge of being super obsessive about peeing on a strip every 5 hours. So balance it with everything else. Life is all about balance. Let's not pee on a strip every 2 seconds. Okay, ladies, give me a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this video or you learned something new about how to use the OPKs or how to integrate it with what you're doing already. And if you want more information about how to naturally boost your fertility, then head to my website down below and you can get your free 5-step fertility boosting guide. You'll get added to my email list and we'll have lots of awesome conversations through that. I'm so glad you joined me today on Fertility Mom, and I shall see you next time. Bye, ladies.